Hey YouTube, so I wanted to give a quick update. I have some time to film now. My baby's having a nap. So as of 3 days ago, I was 23 months off antidepressants and benzos. And I honestly had been doing quite well. If you saw my other videos, right around the 1 month mark, I really felt like I was making progress in my recovery. And then I had to take a round of antibiotics for a sinus infection, and that really set me back. After the second pill, I had a severe reaction, but I continued and took the pills, the whole course of them, which was 30, because I'm a diabetic and I didn't want the infection to get worse and turn into something more serious that required more serious drugs and antibiotics, because that has happened to me in the past. So it was a really bumpy ride. So I finished the antibiotics on December 2nd, so it's been about 6 weeks, and I felt like I was making progress again. It's just like this whole process is just so crazy. And then about almost a week ago, I had some suspicion like something else is wrong. I don't know if it was a intuition or a gut instinct or just, my mind just putting things together, but I have felt low-key sick the entire winter. So where I live, winter is like 6 months long and it starts basically in October. So I have a history of sinus infections. I had sinus surgery in 2010. It really, really helped. But then just this last year, I've really been getting sick again. And I thought, okay, maybe it's just postpartum and maybe I'm just having a hard time recovering from things from that. And I also have been diabetic for so long, which usually means that you're a slower healer. But I had taken a round of antibiotics, and in the past that had always gotten rid of my sinus infections, but I felt like it barely did anything. And then I've just been feeling sick for like 3 months. My daughter, who also sleeps in my room in her crib, because we live in a 2-bedroom apartment, I live with my mom, she has been waking up in the morning with her eye completely pasted shut. She coughs and sounds like a smoker, and the antennas just went up, and I'm like, there's something else going on here. So I called, I know, well, old friends, I know the owner of a property restoration company where I live. So I phoned and I said, can you please come to the house here? I have a suspicion that there's mold. So he came out here and did an inspection. Sure enough, both bedrooms have mold. Mine is worse. I think, well, because the place is not properly insulated, it's not properly sealed around the windows, and so condensation in the wintertime gets in. Plus I had used a humidifier for months because I thought that maybe it was just too dry, and that's why I felt sick, but that actually was contributing to the problem. So there's mold all around the windows in both bedrooms, and then he suspects it goes a foot underneath each window, and they're gonna have to pull the windows out, replace them, rip the drywall out all the way to the floor and potentially the carpets. So because that's gonna make it uninhabitable here, we have to move. So as you can probably guess, I've been severely, severely stressed. So I moved my daughter's crib and my bed into the living room, and we have been sleeping there for the past 2-3 nights, which I don't know if you can tell, but I have not been sleeping very well at all. So trying to deal with that, we have to be out in 60 days. So trying to move in the middle of a Canadian prairie winter with a baby, and I'm 8.5 months postpartum. So I took a virtual assistant course that finished last week or the week before, and I'm trying to get clientele. My plan was to build them up slowly so that by the time my daughter's 1 and it's time for me to go back to work when my disability runs out, I was going to slowly build up clientele. So I was working full time by then, because I didn't want to do anything too crazy too fast, because I know how that sets me back. So but now everything's out the window. I feel like now I have to start making more money because we potentially have to move into a more expensive place, and we have to pay for movers and packers and all these expenses. It's just been a nightmare. And to be honest, like, this just continuously seems to keep happening in my journey. Like, now I feel like I'm way, way, way set back. I'm super sleep deprived. All of my symptoms have come back with a vengeance again. And it just goes to show you that these drugs, whatever they do, which is not just raise serotonin, just give you happy chemicals, just raise your GABA so that you don't panic. I mean, they seriously mess up your body. I mean, it's been almost 2 years since I've taken a psych drug, and I feel like right now, in the last couple of days, like I'm right back to first coming off. Like, that's how bad I feel. it's just so incredibly frustrating. It just seems like you have to live in this bubble and you have to constantly be walking around on glass worrying about, you know, when's the next bomb gonna drop kind of thing. And it's not natural. Like a normal person, yeah, would feel stress, but you can bounce back and you can do things to relieve it. You can have a drink, or you can exercise, or you can get extra sleep. But because of my condition and because I have a baby and I'm a single mom, I don't have that. I can't do it. I don't have time. I'm not really able to tolerate a lot of things. I definitely won't drink. So it's just, it's really a nightmare. So that's the latest what's going on. If my voice sounds different, it's not because I'm sick. I actually was at my uncle and aunt's last night for coffee. I'm really close with them, and they always give me like a few things to nibble on. And so we had some veggies and dip, and they had some like little chocolates and little mints and stuff like that. And they had some pudding and pie and all this stuff. So I just was just nibbling out of the tray, and they had a little chocolate macaroon. It was literally just, it was like a Canadian loonie. It wasn't very big at all. And I inhaled or something, or I started talking while I was eating, and I had the most intense choking attack I think I've ever had. I like inhaled it, it went down the wrong tube, and I was just like, I could not breathe, and I was dry heaving like really violently because whatever was trying to expel, like I was choking and like trying to vomit at the same time. And then afterwards they were kind of like, my aunt's a nurse, so I felt like I was in good hands if something worse were to happen. But it was still like, whoa. And they were like, Kate, we were starting to get scared. And then afterwards they were kind of laughing because my voice went like an octave lower and it was really hoarse sounding. So I don't have a sore throat, but that's why my voice maybe sounds different, is because I probably like strained my vocal cords or something. But that's what's going on with that. So really frustrated. I'm just so ready for this journey to be over. I just feel like I'm getting close, and then I get pushed back, and I get close, and then I get pushed back. But the thing is I kind of am in this, between this rock and a hard place, because part of me is like, okay, there's too much stress. Like I need to like dial it down, but it's out of my control. Like I have to move. I got notice from the landlord, have to do it in the winter, have to pack. Like my mom is the one who has most of this stuff. A lot of my stuff I've already moved into storage, but this is like, my mom she's lived here for many years, so she has a lot of stuff. So there's the stress of that. I'm like, okay, don't get too stressed. Don't do too much. Like you're doing too much, but like it's out of my control. But on the flip side, if I stay here and maintain the status quo and do the same thing and keep things steady, I'm living in mold. And I've read and heard that mold and akathisia can go together. So that might just explain why I've had akathisia for so long, despite only reinstating and taking benzos for 3 months. So for me, it's like, okay, both of those situations are bad. Both of them are going to set off the nervous system. Which one is worse? The stress will be short term. I just have to, pack and move and get out of here and get in a safe place. The mold thing is long term. I mean, mold exposure can do a lot of damage to your health, and I'm aware of that. You don't have to tell me. I'm super aware, and I'm doing everything I can to get us out of here as quickly as possible. I have to be out by March 31st, but I don't want to wait that long. It's just, I've got a lot on my plate. I'm waiting for phone calls about applications for rentals I've put in, and there's literally nothing else I can do right now but wait to hear back. So I'm trying to get the ball rolling, but it's really stressful. But at least now that we're in the living room where it's safer, I know it's not a solution, but it's at least a little bit better. So she's having less symptoms, I'm having less symptoms. So it's something. And I just figure, like I said, the temporary short-term stress will be better than the long-term mold exposure. And who knows how long it's been going on. I've only noticed symptoms, like I noticed symptoms here and there, but I always attributed it to withdrawal. But it's never been bad until the last 3 months. So, and I've really noticed it since I had a baby. I just had thought, oh yeah, it's just my old sinus problem coming back, or oh, it's just withdrawal, or oh, it's just allergies or whatever. But now that it's affecting her, not only does it motivate me to move faster, but then I realize, okay, this is a bigger deal than just, oh, I'm just sick because it's winter kind of thing. So that's what's been going on with me. I will be 2 years off on February 21st. I can't believe it's been that long, but at the same time, it's felt like eternity because it's been hell on earth. I feel like everybody going through this should be compensated, but I know that will never happen. So that's the latest with me. Just right now sitting here, my body is burning. I have bone crushing pain like in my legs. It's so intense. And then I get like, I'm in pain everywhere. Like my head hurts, my face hurts, my arms feel like they're in a clamped vice grip. I have bone crushing pain in my legs, my back hurts. And I have that like just that acid feeling running through my body. I was jerking a little bit this morning when I woke up. I have internal vibrations. I'm just like, my mind is not in a good place. Like it just spews out these thoughts, intrusive thoughts that I have no control over. And it always happens when my body is overstimulated, which I feel like it is. I'm also very, very sleep deprived. So it's rough. I'm doing everything I can to keep it together, but I'm struggling, not gonna lie. So let me know how you guys are doing in the comments. It's a long journey, but we'll get through it. Bye.